I forgot what I was gonna say.
How's it going, everybody? Endless Perforator Hives here. So, yes, wouldn't you believe it, but, I'm just gonna safely say it, that I think the Shadowraven saga, at least for, well, hopefully time going forward here, is pretty much over. I'm likely going to maybe do some sort of retrospective at some point in the future, talking about this, and maybe going over what I could have at least done different, which, obviously, there are a few things that probably could have been handled a little bit differently, and, of course, considering that I was given a treasure trove of different old videos of Shadowraven Studios, I might cover those on a stream later after this video is uploaded and whatever else, but for right now, consider this the actual grand finale. Now, of course, as for the weird confederation, you know, the weird group that for some reason feels comfortable enough to name themselves after the losing side in the Civil War, I can't even be certain if their campaign is entirely done. But I can at least safely say with confidence that at least two of those figureheads are currently gone, and those two figureheads are All Out Monty and Shadowraven Studios. Now, All Out Monty vanished for God knows what reason, probably because he got called out too many times and is now embarrassed thoroughly and is probably fucked off finally. As for Shadowraven Studios, well, he ended up basically quitting after All Out Monty ended up quitting. So, there's that. I do, in fact, just want to kind of bring up a few interesting things that have been pointed out by some people who decided to do a little bit of digging. And it turns out, well, much like you would expect, the main reason why Shadowraven Studios despises Nexus mods so much is because he used to be on Nexus mods, and he ended up getting banned for repeatedly breaking the terms of service. I know, it's unbelievably shocking, but surprisingly enough, he didn't get banned for the reason that you would probably think he would. He ended up getting banned not because he kept on throwing slurs at random people, not because he made it obvious that he hated gay people, but funnily enough, it was because he kept on breaking their guidelines on nudity and sexual content. And I think, judging by a lot of his thumbnails, even before this current weird DLC fun arc of his, I think you can kind of understand where they're actually coming from. Apparently, on Nexus Mods, he used to have an account called Shadowraven Studios 07, in which he apparently uploaded his video about an Oblivion mod, in which, in the thumbnail, and probably throughout the video, there was just very, very provocative clothing, and just barely any kind of coverage for the women that were within said video and thumbnail, which of course was a massive violation of the guidelines. Of course, for some unknown reason, he tried to cover this up by stating, well, I mentioned that there was adult content in the video this time, so there shouldn't be, I shouldn't be getting banned, despite the fact that, again, it's still violating terms of service on Nexus mods, and he ended up getting banned for it. In fact, a note from the person who presumably banned him basically pointed out, you either deliberately or unknowingly have not pointed out in this description that there are different rules on the site for mods and images and videos. And of course, from the policies and guidelines, allow me to read it for you. It basically points out that a visual guide to nudity restrictions, there's an excerpt right there, but of course here's what is pointed out here. Images that expose the areas covered by the red areas are only acceptable in the supporter image or as user uploaded images on mod files so long as the appropriate adult tag is utilized. And of course, just straight up imagery featuring transparent or translucent, skin tight or otherwise revealing clothing that can be perceived as accentuating is considered nudity and is therefore only acceptable in the user-supported image or as part of a mod if tagged appropriately, but not as, of course, just a blatant image, I assume. And of course, he ended up getting nuked because, well, again, if any of you guys remember his thumbnails, especially now, yeah, I think you can take a wild guess that that would have ultimately led to his ban. And apparently he tried to actually get himself unbanned, and let me just read this out for you. I waited long enough, I'm getting sick and tired of this. Unban my account right now! Big frickin' whoop, just knock it off. Unban my account, please! What's the big deal? God, you guys are such crybabies over something I posted, which I made clear to you I'm not going to do again. God. Like, Jesus fucking Christ. I think that if you repeatedly break terms of service, they are fully within their right to not unban your account. But of course, that explains why he has such a massive hate boner for Nexus mods, just as pretty much anybody would end up having a massive hate boner for really any other website that they end up getting justifiably nuked off of. And, well, wouldn't you believe it, Shadowraven Studios ended up getting nuked off of Nexus mods, which is why he's currently in this weird war with them. Well, at least he would think that it's a war. But of course, we also have this right here, which is of course, well, which is at least the first concession of defeat when it comes to Shadowraven Studios. So let me just read this out for you. Bro, I hate to tell you, but we definitely lost. Team Gamerfood is working with Moment of Sanity in this hate mob. I'm pretty sure my court thread I spammed on all of their channels, videos, and even community posts, at least a couple of those burner channels belong to a couple of the Gamerfood members. Next thing I know, the screenshots you see above, I got these next morning on my Rumble videos. Alright, well, time for me to immediately dispel something that he further goes into in an audio recording that I'm going to be going into, but no, I'm not working with this fucking Team Gamerfood. In fact, let me put it this way, the only knowledge of this Team Gamerfood I know about is, funnily enough, only from Shadowraven Studios and some of his old videos talking about them. And I will in fact just simply put this out right now, and I know that this is going to actually be very shocking, but for all intents and purposes, Shadowraven Studios was in fact correct about Team Gamerfood just being a bunch of fucking morons that, well, were an actual harassment group. You see, what we were doing was documenting and laughing at an idiot, and not really trying to explicitly go after him or his family or anything along those lines, but, like, this Team Gamerfood was quite literally deliberately going out of their way to, like, contact his family and make up, like, weird allegations of him, like, supposedly having diddled his own daughter back in, like, '99, which I tried to look up on every registry that I could, his full name, because, well, this dumbass forgot to censor his full name in one of the screenshots when he was talking about Team Gamerfood, so I was able to look up his full name on a bunch of different registries, and for all intents and purposes, I couldn't find anything. And, well, from everything that I tried to do, looking up on both American registries, in case he used to be a US citizen and then moved to Canada for whatever reason, and I tried to look up on the Canadian registries to whatever extent I possibly could, and, well, I found absolutely nothing. So, either A, statute of limitations in Canada for some reason decided to, you know, nuke any kind of, like, records of this within the past, like, 2 years, or B, the records just straight up don't exist, and this Team Gamerfood was basically making shit up. Which, I'm going to do something that Shadowraven seems to be allergic to whenever it comes to him covering me, and that is, of course, to be charitable here. And that is to at least assume that, well, it's probably the latter, that he just didn't actually do any of this and they were just making shit up. I know, I'm being charitable with somebody who is extremely uncharitable towards me. Fucking sue me, I guess. So despite the fact that he still has yet to actually beat the lolicon allegations, as far as I'm aware of, he hasn't done anything to a real physical child, so at least we can rest easy knowing that. But no, I'm not working with Team Gamerfood, and nor are they really working with me. In fact, if any of them were to try and contact me, I would probably turn my nose up and tell them to get lost and eat dirt. Because at the end of the day, I really don't care about them, and harassment is quite literally one of the things that I do not tolerate on my channel. But whatever. Anyways, let's move on to the next part of this one. I think right now we need to stop fucking around with these servers. We already know Ashfall Dude is no good after all the dirt I picked up on off of him. The best course of action is to try and detour everyone from Nexus Mods and suggest better sites for these mod authors and users to go to. If a mod project is being worked on by Nexus Mods members and is going to be hosted on Nexus Mods, don't trust it, don't use the mod, and avoid it. Well, I highly doubt that that's actually going to work, especially considering the fact that we all know what website he's going to try and get people to go to, DLC Fun, which is, of course, as already confirmed, is just a website that is just straight up stealing mods in order for idiots to basically make a quick buck. So, there's that. To put it all just in the simplest methods, I really don't think whatever this new campaign that Shadowraven is going to be doing is really going to work, and I mean, I would love to see him at least try. That's really all I have to say. But we still have a bit of an audio recording to at least go through. It's about 5 minutes long. It's going to take some time, but, well, it's just him going on some sort of weird fuck-ass rant. So without any further ado, let us sit back, relax, grab some popcorn, and let's just dive right in.
See, this is why I don't understand. This fucking asshole, Moment of Sanity, he keeps saying that I'm the one who's keeping this going, but I'm not even doing anything. I'm just trying to make my videos. On Rumble, I'm not even on YouTube anymore, but they're actually the ones who are keeping this going, because I have not posted anything on YouTube. I have not uploaded anything on YouTube. The only thing I did is confront them under a burner account.
Okay, well, already there's quite a bit to unpack here. So quite literally, he's just stating that just because he hasn't uploaded anything on YouTube, then that means I have no right to still document him when he starts to act like a fucking fool using other methods while on YouTube. Dude, you quite literally confirmed within that one screenshot that you were making threats of legal action which would obviously go fucking nowhere for multiple different reasons, key of which being that you have literally no case, but another big problem is that, again, it'll be an international case, and let's put it this way, speaking from experience, speaking as someone who is probably in a similar financial rut as you certainly don't have the fucking money to do an international case to try and deal with this over in the States. I'm sorry, buddy, but you're just not that guy. But the thing is that even though you are still making your videos on Rumble and whatnot, again, the videos that you're making on Rumble just so happen to involve me, and people let me know about it, which is why I end up talking about them whenever they get redistributed onto YouTube, so that way I don't give you any more views. Surprisingly enough, you would think that just because you're on a different website would mean that you're suddenly exonerated from all crimes. No, that's not how this shit works. If you're still going to act like an idiot, especially on like a different website that I'm at least loosely aware of, then I'm going to call you out for doing so, especially if for some reason you're looping me into any of this fucking garbage, but whatever the hell you say, my guy. So, again, I just have to point this out, buddy, but again, I've mentioned in one of my previous videos that there is rarely any point in which I make a video for no reason. There's usually a reason why I make a video, and it's usually because, well, the person I'm talking about is acting like a moron, and well, won't you believe it, you are the key moron for the past, what, like 5 fucking months at this point? Like, Jesus Christ, dude, you had nothing better to do for the last 5 months.
Because all this shit that they're doing right now, the doxing, them having Team Gamer Food come after me, this is beyond. They're pretty much breaking laws here.
Okay, well, let me just quickly bring up a few other things. First of all, sending Team Gamer Food after you, again, I have no affiliation with them. They have no affiliation with me. I don't even know who the fuck they are outside of your own fucking videos about them, and I'm even willing to agree with you that they are a bunch of fucking morons that were in fact actually doing a just straight up targeted harassment campaign against you. Like, I'm willing to agree with you on that one. Like, I don't fucking agree with what it is that they were doing. But in terms of doxing, well, I think that's a little bit of throwing stones in glass houses, if you will. Because, well, first of all, I haven't doxed anybody. In fact, the only person who did attempt to dox people was you. You attempted to dox the fucking people behind, like, the, burner accounts for the, archive channels and whatnot, and got their names completely wrong because, again, they were all burner channels, and you even threatened to dox me within a now-deleted comment, I believe, where you were just bringing up the fact that, oh, well, people are going to know your name, and, well, it may not be me, but someone is going to dox you, which is basically just code word for, I'm going to try and figure out where you live so that way I can dox you, but I'm going to claim it wasn't me.
And I did nothing wrong. I had actual receipts, but these guys don't. So, I don't know why. He must be pissed about something. He's obviously pissed that we don't want Ashfall Dude in the mod project, and also he's pissed off at me too because I exposed him for being a groomer.
Oh my fucking god. Okay, once again, we have to talk about this one. Your supposed receipts were literally just me reposting fucking pride shit, and also shit about Faith the fucking unholy trinity, my guy. Again, that's not evidence of being a groomer, that is evidence of me being pro, like, LGBT, and being a fan of a fucking funny rotoscoped game. It's not proof of fuck all. What are you even talking about? We had actual receipts of you just straight up harassing us, straight up making threats of violence, straight up just attempting to dox people, and, of course, just generally being a hateful individual for months on end. We are the ones with the actual receipts, meanwhile your receipts are literally just, this guy is gay, go after him. Like, that's literally fucking it. And again, when it comes to fucking Ashfall Dude, you had literally no receipts of him being like trans or bisexual at all. In fact, from my experience, I would call him like borderline asexual because he's more concerned about other weird hyperfixations other than fucking sexuality. So, again, I just have to talk about this. I just have to bring this up. But you're just talking out of your ass at this point. I'm not mad that you exposed me as a groomer. In fact, I'm not even mad at all. I've been having a good old time with this entire saga, even when I was fucking tired of it and wanted it to end. I'm not mad at you. I'm laughing at you. I'm laughing at your stupidity, and I'm laughing at every single, like, weird, like, schizo rant that you decide to go on in order to try and, like, paint me as a bad guy just because I called you out for being stupid. Shadow Raven Studios, everybody. If this is for some reason the first video on this that you're seeing, there's about like 15 other videos that you probably need to go through in order to understand this full lore. Or at least 2 entire supercuts and a couple of videos afterwards in order to understand this entire fucking lore entry, but it's silly as hell.
So, yeah, it's obvious he's mad about something and he can't let it go. So he's the one that's keeping this shit going. Meanwhile, well, as far as I know, on my end, I didn't do a damn thing.
You know, you didn't do a damn thing other than attempt to dox people, attempt to threaten people, make legal threats for whatever reason, claim that we're harassing you despite that we're not, literally copyright strike down multiple channels, threatened to copyright strike myself and Xanderhall, mind you, just because we were covering you, and probably also a couple of other people that were also involved with this situation, mind you, made threats towards a minor, I should probably mention, towards a couple of minors throughout this entire situation for whatever reason, and you're still sending, well, I don't even know if you're the one that's still sending them, but they're still goons to this day, acting like fucking morons in the comment sections of anyone that I'm loosely associated with. And, again, I just have to point this out, I was the first one that wanted this to end. I wanted this to end at the second fucking video that I made on you, and you're the one that decided to keep opening up the book by making more and more wild allegations and acting more and more like a moron.
I'm trying to work on something. I'll just go ahead and explain it to you. I knew a friend back then, and I thought he was a real friend, which I should have contacted sooner. I was thinking about doing it last weekend under a burner phone number and get some information out of him, because I haven't heard from him in 3 years, and he was starting to show very fishy patterns. The last few times I talked to him 3 years ago, he was acting very strange, from saying that he called a black person the N-word, from telling me that he's part of a troll group now.
I just feel like I should mention, if this was like a former friend of yours, I definitely, if you're trying to claim that like just because he's like part of like a trolling group or something like that, then he's like suddenly aligned with me, he would definitely not be aligned with me, especially considering the fact that you just stated that he apparently said like the N-word or something like that, which I guess kind of actually seems par for the course for anyone that's a friend with an anti-woke loser like this guy, so yeah, you know what, I'm just not surprised. Anyways, we're gonna be skipping over a lot of this because it's just mainly him talking about like this man going fucking like just kind of disappearing for a while and him making like a weird connection or something like that. We'll go to where he makes a weird connection.
I figured this friend of mine, which is actually a real asshole, I'm assuming he was tipping them off the whole time, telling them what my phone number was and all this stuff, because he knew all of my information, and it's either that or he is actually the one behind all of this. All of these attacks against me, all these accounts he keeps using to harass me and all that shit.
I really have nothing else to say to you, my guy, other than I don't know who this person is, and if you're going to try and claim that for some reason I'm connected to this, or connected to, like, the phone calls or anything along those lines, again, no, I'm not. I find that shit to be absolutely deplorable, almost as deplorable as posting Lolicon on YouTube with no fucking warning. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't care who this Team Gamer Food is. They suck, for all intents and purposes. From what I've heard, they suck. From what I've seen, they suck. And again, you trying to claim that I'm, like, somehow in cahoots with them is just unbelievably fucking stupid beyond, like, anything else. But that's basically gonna do it for today's video. That's basically the end of the audio recording. But anyways, guys, what have we learned? Well, we've learned to not be like Shadow Raven Studios. Don't claim that the other side is continuing this when they were the first ones that wanted it to end, and while you continue to act like a moron and continue to rope them back into a situation that for really just anything at all, they kind of wanted to just kind of distance themselves from months ago. But anyways, guys, that's going to have to do it for today's video. If you guys enjoyed today's video, please consider leaving a like. That's very well appreciated. Leave a comment down below what you thought about the video, what you want me to talk about next, and also subscribe to the channel if you're new and you want to see more content such as this. Also, go ahead and follow me on Twitter, join the Discord server, and I also have channel memberships now. We already have like one channel member. Thank you very much, Gruesome, for being a fantastic channel member, I should mention. And, yeah. Anyways, guys, this has been Sandy, and have yourselves a nice day.